This is a very, very important day for me, and a very important, let's say, talk, no? A talk between two women from different backgrounds, but different continents, who are today going to share something that they have in common, what has united us today. I am Asha Ismail of Save a Girl, Save a Generation, an organization based in Spain and recently has opened an office in Kenya, Nairobi. We have been working towards the elimination and educating people towards female genital mutilation, known as FGM. And we have been working for, let's say, 13 years right now, since the organization has been registered in Spain. And today, as I said before, is a very special occasion, and I'm really happy to have you on the other side of the screen so that we can talk about this issue. So I would like, for you to present yourself.
Okay. I am Dr. A. Renée Bergstrom. My career was as a patient education specialist at the world-renowned Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. I am a survivor of FGM. This took place when I was 3 years old. And I have been working towards ending FGM along with all these amazing women throughout the world who know that this is a tragedy for all little children who have undergone the cutting.
And thank you, Doctor. It's really amazing to know that in the other side of the continent, somebody who doesn't have the culture, let's say the tradition imposed or automatically assumed that this practice belonged only to one continent, and to find you, to be able to talk to you today, for me is a gift. During the years of this, our fight, let's say, against FGM, or our work towards eradicating FGM, we have tried not to stigmatize only the African women. So I want you to tell us a brief story of how yours was, why it took you so long before you could talk about it. What really made you not to talk about it? Was it pressure from the families? Was it you ashamed of talking about the issue?
Well, my cutting was done because I was touching myself. And, you know, a 3-year-old, I don't know if you actually call it masturbation when you're 3 years old, but my mother was concerned. She took me to a doctor who I believe practiced his religion with a scalpel. And the belief of the doctor's religion was that masturbation was a sin, and he removed my clitoris. And the scar tissue from the way it healed caused multiple problems for me later in life. And my mother told me immediately that she knew it was a mistake and that I should never talk about it. And so I became her protector by not saying anything. And then I was confused by it. What had really happened? What was I missing as I was growing up as a teenager? But that kept me from talking with my sisters or my friends. And so the only person I really shared this with was my husband, and didn't even talk about it when I was pregnant with my first child because I didn't know that it was going to be an issue. But actually it was. if I had not been in a medical institution with a very caring doctor, I could have died, just like other women throughout the world have died in childbirth. So I was given a extensive episiotomy, and which took many months to heal. Then I talked with my doctor afterwards, and like 3 months after the baby was born, and he was shocked to find out why I had that difficulty. So I don't know if I'm, and I still continued to stay silent. I tried to mention it to a trusted coworker. Well, I tried 3 times with trusted coworkers, and all 3 of them said, "Don't ever share that again, Renee, or you will ruin your career." They didn't say why I would ruin my career, but it basically silenced me again.
Wow. I honestly have no words. Obviously, you have answered it very well, and I feel you. I understand the pain, the fear, the insecurity this might have caused in your life, and especially when you couldn't have somebody to talk to, when it was so hard to open up.
Right.
And that's why it's so important for people to come out and talk about it, because not everybody is brave enough. It's not a matter of braveness, actually. It's just maybe you don't want to hurt your people. Maybe you don't want anybody to look at you differently. You don't want to be pointed out. There are so many circumstances that surround our silence.
Right. Yeah, part of it is protecting your family. And part of it is not knowing who's going to be compassionate and who's going to be judgmental.
Exactly. And so, but it's good that finally you have decided, okay, I don't care anymore. I am going to talk about this. When was the turning point?
In 1981, on one day, I became aware of 2 things. First of all, that there was a conference of leaders in Africa that were getting together to decide if they should bring the cutting into a hospital setting to prevent the infections that happen in the bush. And on the same day, I saw that there was an application from the Women's Desk of Lutheran World Federation to support education on social issues. So I applied to them, and I was accepted, but I was not allowed. The leaders of that African conference would not allow me to come there and talk, because what I wanted to say was my cutting happened in a clinical setting. I did not have an infection, but I still had complications throughout my life.
Back in the 1865, I think it was, in England, it was a law, well, it was quite normal, with the excuse of curing hysteria and other diseases they used to cut. There was even a doctor in the United States, I don't remember which state, that his clinic was finally closed. So my question is, do you think there are many young girls, women like you who are present today, maybe younger than you or older than you, who might have gone through it but are silent and are afraid to talk about it?
Yes, I am sure that there are some people that realize what had happened and just do not wish to talk about it. There are others who probably it may have happened when they were so young and they don't even realize that it occurred. And there are also, as if you see the other story on the that Ekaterina Bodiagina had of the American young woman. I mean, she's in her 40s, and that happened to her when she was young. So I think there are more people in the United States than we know about that are white Americans, not immigrants.
What will be your message towards those women?
There are some of us here who are willing to listen to their stories if they wish to share them, knowing full well that there are some risks in telling your stories. And you are aware of that as well, aren't you?
I am. I'm getting goosebumps, and you cannot imagine how emotional. I'm trying to control because it cannot be seen, but I'm really excited about this. I think it is very important. All our voices join together. All our voices join together, independently of which continent and which background we come from, to just break the silence once and for all, and to talk about it. This is not our fault.
No.
We should not be ashamed of it.
Right.
And it can help a lot to encourage more people to go forward and talk about it, and moms to abandon this practice. Those who still think it has any benefit on us, they should know that it doesn't.
Yes, there is no benefit whatsoever.
Definitely.
Right.
I always also talk about, and I don't know, I would like to know your opinion about it. I talk about this female genital surgical, when the women go to reduce their labias.
Oh, yes.
I would like to know your opinion about that.
I think it's another way of a social, of making women think they're not okay. I just do not understand why anyone would willingly have their genital area altered. Right, because we are beautiful as we are. And there is nothing, for society to say to us, we are not okay, we need to be changed, we need to add this, we need to take this away, is just another way of putting women down.
Definitely.
And not valuing us as a whole person. So wherever it's coming from, it is not beneficial. There's no benefit to the wholeness of a person.
And then there's something you said about your interview where I met you. You said that, you have you're married, you had a relationship, you're in love, but you'll never know how an intact woman is. It's something I've always felt.
When you're missing something that is that sensitive as the outer portion of a clitoris, we can assume that we are not fully participating in what a female sexual experience can be. But we have no idea what that is like for a woman who is totally intact.
That's very true. That's very, very true. And thank God that they did not know then that the clitoris, there was only just one small part exposed. If they come to know, they will have, I think, they will have removed everything that was related to the clitoris.
I know it's a large organ, and there are ways of having pleasure from the inner part of the clitoris that doesn't show. So there is sexual satisfaction, but it is probably not the same as someone who experiences it with an totally intact body.
But as a word of encouragement to all our sisters who have gone through the cut one way or the other, I think that I should tell them to try, sexuality is not only the genitals, it's your whole being, it's your body, it's your brain, and they should try to discover and try to find that pleasure, that they can also have that pleasure. They should not block their minds.
Right. And yes, we should never feel that we are
less.
Not okay.
Exactly.
We are okay. And we can discover sensitive areas throughout our whole body that give us pleasure.
We might not be okay as such, but we are not less than anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We are not less.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Renée. Thank you so much. This means to me a lot.
Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you by Skype, and hope that we will be able to continue our friendship.
Thank you so much, Doc, for accepting this invitation and for accepting to share with us your experience. This is really rich, and I'm sure it will encourage a lot of women all over the world. And this is not going to be our last meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And bye-bye.
Goodbye now.